Hello kids, I'm Sergeant Mosley of Farmington Police Department. I'm with the K9 unit. Next to me is my partner Hasso. He's a 6-year-old German Shepherd. Today we're going to do a demonstration for you. We're going to go over some different things of what the dogs do, and we're going to show you some cool bite drills that we do to make sure our dogs are ready to patrol the streets. So kids, the most important thing to know is police dogs are trained to find people and things. Our dogs in particular here at Farmington Police, they're trained to find people in hiding, and they're also trained to find narcotics, which are the things. Do you know how dogs are able to find people and things? What do you think they do to do that? So if you said their nose, then you're correct, because dogs can smell up to, how many times do you think better than humans? That's right, over 1 million times better than humans. So dogs use their nose to find the people and the things, which helps us in law enforcement. So you're probably wondering where our police dogs come from. They actually come from Europe, which is overseas. We don't use American dogs because in Europe they have something called dog sport. And dog sport essentially pre-trains the dogs to do what we need them to do in law enforcement. So in dog sport, they use their nose to go find things or bite things. And that transitions well into law enforcement. These dogs cost about $10,500. So what happens is we have a guy that flies overseas, picks out the dogs and brings them back. When he brings them back, we go to California. And in California, we pick out our dogs and we pay $10,500 for these dogs. You're probably thinking that's a lot of money. And if you don't know how much $10,500 is, it's about the price of a small car. Essentially, it's a lot of money, but these dogs pay for themselves over a period of time. So take your school, for example. Let's pretend you're at home, or for example, right now, the virus is going around, so you can't attend school. You have a lot of expensive property in your school right now, so let's assume a bad guy were to break in. For us to catch that bad guy, we have to surround your school, and we would need to send cops inside. If you were to take your own school and think about the best hiding spot you could think of, could you imagine how long it would take a group of officers to go into your school to find you? It would take a long time, and it would be dangerous, assuming the bad guys has weapons. So what we'll do is we'll just surround the school and we'll send the dog in. So instead of sending 7 cops inside your school, we'll just send 1 dog. And say we do that every night for the next 8 years. The dog will pay for himself. And essentially what he'll do is he'll use his nose, which can smell 1 million times better than us, and he'll just start searching the school with his nose. So if it's dark inside, it's not going to matter because he's sniffing, he's smelling, he's not looking. And he's going to keep sniffing and looking around until he finds you in your hiding spot. And then that's why they're able to pay for themselves. So a question we get asked often is, where does the dog stay? Where does he live? Well, our partners, our dogs, they live with us at home. At home, some of us have wife and kids or other dogs. And what we have to do is we have to train the dog that at home, he's just a pet. So at home, he'll listen to my wife and kids just like any of your dogs would. He's just better trained. So as I mentioned earlier, our dogs are trained to find people. And I use the example of when they're hiding in the school. Well, our dogs are also trained to find things, which our dogs specifically find drugs. So a good example of this, since their nose is 1 million times better, have you ever came home from school and your parents have a pizza box they either cooked or they bought inside, and you could smell the pizza, and all you smell is, hey, I know there's pizza in their house, or there was pizza in the house. Well, our dogs particularly can smell the individual ingredients. So they can smell the cheese, the sauce, the bread, the pepperoni, whatever spices or other meats are on the pizza, and they're able to break it down in their brain and distinguish each individual smell, whereas we just smell pizza. This is important for the dogs because when they're looking for, let's say, narcotics and hiding, the dogs will smell other things, such as maybe the cigarette smell in the car, the bad guy odor, or the pizza that's in the car from what they just purchased. However, our dog will also smell the drugs that are hidden. They'll get past all those other smells and they'll detect the drugs that are hiding as well, and they'll alert to that. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever our dog is sent into a building such as your school or another structure where somebody's hiding inside, he's trained to guard and bark. That's the term that we use. So if the bad guy's inside your school, if the dog's not able to get to them and bite them, say if they're hidden inside a cabinet or under a desk where the dog can't get, he'll start barking at them. And when I hear my dog barking, that means he's alerted to somebody hiding inside. The other way we know somebody, if they're hiding inside, is if we hear them yelling for help, because it hurts really bad when a dog bites you.
Hello everybody, my name is Domenici. I'm an officer for Farmington PD. This is my partner Hart. Hart's a 7.5-year-old German Shepherd from the Czech Republic. He's 80 pounds and his birthday is actually coming up in a couple months. Hart's favorite things to do are to find bad guys, find drugs, and to sit on the couch at home and watch cops with me. Here in a minute you're going to see a couple bite drills that we do to train the dogs. The biggest thing to watch is I know a lot of people have seen angry, vicious dogs. That's not what our dogs are. Our dogs, if you'll watch, they'll be wagging their tails, they'll be happy. This is a game to them. So the neighborhood dog that's always growling and barking, if you see his ears are always pinned and his tail's tucked, that's a dog that's angry or scared. Our dogs, they'll be wagging their tails, their ears will be up, they'll be happy. The way we train these dogs to do what they do is ever since they're a puppy, they get a piece of jute, which is like burlap. They get to play with that. That's their toy. Slowly they start pulling that up onto a little sleeve, and these dogs start binding a sleeve, which will show all our equipment here in a minute. Once we go past that, then we take away the burlap and they're just biting on the sleeve. The whole time maintaining it as a game. If you watch whichever handler does this drill, we'll be petting our dogs, we'll be loving on them, and our dogs are always taught to bite and hold. They only bite once. We don't want to hurt anybody, but we want to keep someone where they're at. So the dog will bite, and again, going back to the vicious neighborhood dog, right? They bite a bunch of times. Our dogs bite once and they just hold on. So our dogs are trained to bite for 3 reasons. 1 is if we tell them to. 2 is to protect themselves, and 3 is to protect us as the handlers. One of the reasons that we train our dogs to bite is when we tell them to. So if Officer Mead over here is a suspect that I need to take into custody and I can't do it safely with officers, I have Hart to be able to do it. Solstein. So watch his tail like I told you. He's wagging his tail, his ears are up, he's a happy dog right now. Good boy, good boy. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. Hart. Boost. Good boy. Lucky. So one of the other reasons that our dogs will bite someone is if they need to protect themselves. So if Officer Mead's a bad guy and I'm not able to pay attention to what's going on right now, and he decides to attack my dog will defend himself. Solstein. Go ahead. Ah! What a good boy. What a good boy. That's a good doggers. That's a good doggers. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. Hart. Boost. Boy. Boost. Good boy. Lockney. Lockney. So the final reason that my dog will bite is to protect me. So if I decide to pat down Officer Mead and he decides to fight me, fooey. Then my dog's gonna save me. Good boy.
This is a bite sleeve. This is Hasso's favorite toy. So it's like his video games. If you guys like playing video games, this is his video game. And I'm gonna show you some things that he does obedience-wise. He's supposed to listen to me and do everything that he says, that I say. Kanoi. Lockney. So stun. Up. Oh, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good dog. Oh, yeah, good boy. Good boy. Who's a good dog? Lockney. So as you see, I told him to jump over that and to bite me, to let go and lay down. Lockney. So that's a garden bark. When he finds the bad guy hiding in a building, he's supposed to do just that. Oh, good dog. Good boy. Good boy. Who's a good dog? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Puss. Lockney. Who do you think's faster, my K9 or me? My money's on him, so stun. Good boy. Oh, good boy. Oh, that's a good boy. Good dog. Push. Kanoi. Lockney. Leave it. Leave it. Oh, good boy. Who's a good dog? Oh, yeah. As you can see, Hasso loves his sleeve. It's his favorite toy. Right now he's running around celebrating holding it. Lock me. So stunned. So you hear us speaking a different language to our dogs. My dog in particular speaks Czech. However, sometimes they speak German and other languages depending on where they come from.
Hello, I'm Officer Mead. I work for Farmington Police Department. I've been the lead agitator for K9 Division for approximately 2 years now. I'm working on getting a dog of my own. Here we have a few tools used for the dogs. First things we have here are their toys. Pretty much when the dogs are doing a search for people or drugs, they're looking for their toys. So this one's just a piece of jute. They get this. They're looking for this when they're looking for evidence. This one, they're looking for narcotics. So whenever they find drugs, the handler gives them this toy. When they find evidence, they get this toy. So moving on to some of the stuff we use for training. So these right here protect the agitator from getting bit with their teeth. First thing we have is the suit. So it's a really thick suit. This and these pants get worn together and they protect the arms, the legs, torso from getting bit. Over here we have the pants. These go on first and then we put the jacket on. We wear both these at the same time because we can either take arm bites or leg bites, whatever we're wanting to work on at the time. The other thing we wear with them are leather gloves. These are to avoid getting your hands bit if the dog bites too low and misses the sleeve. That way, protect your hands. So what we have here is a bite sleeve. It's just another tool that we use for training. We just slip this on rather than the suit, and they take the bites here rather than anywhere else. Okay, so one of the other things that the dogs do is they search for articles. So say we have a murder suspect and they ditch the weapon somewhere. The dogs are trained to be able to find those. So they do that by searching for human odor that's left on the article. So when they're searching for something, they're just basically smelling for the freshest human odor. Okay, so what we're going to do next is Officer Domenici is going to bring Hart out and he'll do an article find. He's going to find my knife.
Hart's gonna go try and find the knife that Officer Mead threw out. He's done this multiple times. He's found multiple guns, multiple knives, a lot of evidence that people have thrown for me. So hopefully he'll find it quick. Solstein. Solstein. Here to find it. Here to. And all I'm watching for when he does this is I'm watching for a head snap where he catches odor off of something that's been thrown out. Hart! Far enough! Far enough! Here. So right there he snapped a little bit and now he's starting to work a scent cone. Far enough. Hart! Hey! Far enough! Kumni! Here die! Here die! Where's it at? Where's it at? Find it. So when Hart finds something, Lakni, to preserve the crime scene, all he does is lays down. Now I know exactly what he's found, or that he's found something with human odor. Yes! And then he gets his toy.